All right, let's get right into it. Welcome to this declassified intel brief. Today, we're doing a complete, gritty, forensic audit of the American black-budget TR-3B Astra, and we're breaking down the actual physics of a trillion-dollar kill shot. If you've ever wondered what actually happens when the supposedly unstoppable force of American engineering runs headfirst into the immovable object of Russian Scalar radar, well, strap in. We're going to break down exactly how an invincible hypersonic platform harbors a fatal, unavoidable weakness.
So how exactly do you shoot down a ghost? The simple answer is usually you can't. But in the high-stakes world of military engineering, the perfect stealth plane, it literally doesn't exist. Now, the official narrative loves to tell us that stealth is just, black radar-absorbent paint and weird faceted angles. But today's explainer is going to paint a vastly different picture of what the source material says is actually flying around in our skies. We're looking at the hardcore mechanics of how an invincible weapon's absolute greatest strength is simultaneously its massive, glaring liability.
Section 1. The Plasma Shield and the Physics of Silence.
Okay, to really understand the trap here, we have to understand the weapon itself first. The TR-3B relies on something called plasma aerodynamics. It doesn't just smash through the sound barrier with brute force like a normal jet. No, it uses plasma to electronically part the air before the physical hull of the ship ever even touches it. Think of it kind of like a snowplow, right? But instead of a huge blade of steel moving the snow out of the way, you have this intense electromagnetic field literally vaporizing the air right in front of the craft. It flies inside its own self-generated low-pressure cushion. And that is what allows for these insane hypersonic speeds in just terrifying absolute silence.
Now look, I know this sounds like straight-up science fiction, but it's not. We're anchoring all these claims in documented, real-world reality. The actual engineering blueprints for flying inside a highly charged bubble of ionized gas, they've already been stamped and approved by the U.S. Patent Office. Just look up U.S. Patent 6527221B1. The literal mechanics for Magnetohydrodynamic vehicle control are officially on the public books, and these are proven concepts utilized by the defense contractors building the secret space program.
So, let's look at the tactical loadout for a second. We're talking about a gigawatt nuclear core powering a highly classified bismuth magnesium metamaterial hull. It's got active radar cancellation, which basically means it broadcasts a return signal 180 degrees out of phase to just actively erase itself from enemy screens. Add in those hypersonic Mach 10 capabilities and that frictionless plasma cushion we just talked about, and, well, theoretically, the TR-3B is an absolutely unstoppable ghost traversing the entire globe with total impunity.
But that brings us to Section 2, the glowing bullseye, and the massive tactical irony of this whole setup.
Right here is where we find the fatal tactical irony. In high-level, black-budget military engineering, every absolute advantage creates an equal, opposite vulnerability. Now, the TR-3B's primary goal is total invisibility to conventional radar, right? But the very mechanism that successfully hides it, that incredible plasma shield, creates a massive, undeniably distinct electromagnetic signature. I mean, you simply cannot hide a bubble of superheated plasma from sensors that are specifically designed to look for it.
Mach 10, that is over 2 miles per second. Traveling that insanely fast inside our atmosphere should structurally rip any craft to pieces. The TR-3B only survives by maintaining that continuous plasma vortex around itself. But by doing so, it completely stops looking like a traditional airplane, and it becomes this highly energetic anomaly. It is literally screaming its presence across the entire electromagnetic spectrum.
So, the quote-unquote perfect stealth system actually acts as a giant glowing electromagnetic beacon, and this is where Russian black-budget engineers realized something absolutely brilliant. They figured out, hey, we don't need to try and defeat American metamaterials. We don't need to try and out-hack their quantum computers. We just need to hunt the shield itself. So they built a system completely dedicated to looking for that glowing plasma exhaust.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, the Russian mousetrap, otherwise known as the Koopal System.
Enter the Koopal, which translates to dome. This is an unacknowledged, highly classified scalar radar system operating as just an incredibly elegant automated mousetrap. It relies on something called scalar interferometry. Now, instead of using standard radar waves that just bounce off a metal target and return, Koopal sweeps the airspace with invisible longitudinal waves. These waves actually pass completely through an object to measure its exact atomic fingerprint. It's looking for its immutable physical resonant frequency.
So Koopal utilizes this really ruthless AI-driven targeting matrix. If the scalar wave sweeps across, say, a Russian Su-57, it reads the titanium, registers a friendly match, and the waves just pass by harmlessly. Same thing if a civilian Boeing 777 flies over, it registers as neutral. Totally safe. But if that system detects the precise atomic resonance of a bismuth metamaterial hull that's currently wrapped up in a fast-moving localized bubble of plasma, the system flags an unmatched anomaly. And in that exact microsecond, lethal mode is engaged.
To put this into perspective, average human reaction time is roughly 250 milliseconds. That is catastrophically too slow to intercept a target moving at Mach 10. Remember, that's over 2 miles every single second. But because Koopal is an entirely automated system, it absolutely does not need a pilot's visual confirmation. The very moment that anomaly is mathematically confirmed as hostile, Koopal bypasses all human hesitation and transitions instantly right into the kill sequence.
And that leads us to our final part, Section 4, the thermal bloom and the actual physics of the kill shot.
We are going to break down the exact sequence of this automated execution protocol. Step 1. The low-power scalar sweep detects that incoming Mach 10 plasma. Step 2. A millisecond interrogation confirms the hostile resonance signature. Step 3. Those ground-based transmitters instantly dial up from a simple scan mode straight into a gigawatt-level lethal mode. And finally, Step 4. The targeting computer calculates the exact spatial geometry required to cross 2 or more of these invisible longitudinal beams precisely at the incoming target's GPS coordinates.
Now, according to the source material we're analyzing, where these two longitudinal waves actually intersect, they instantly bloom into a massive, localized ball of superheated plasma. This is wild. The Russian targeting computer is essentially using the Americans' own plasma stealth signature as the exact crosshair. As those invisible waves cross and interfere with each other, they unfold back into standard transverse electromagnetic energy, materializing instantaneously right in the flight path as a wall of catastrophic thermal and kinetic shock.
And the end result? Vaporized, completely destroyed without firing a single physical surface-to-air missile. The trillion-dollar TR-3B smashes into this impenetrable, suddenly materialized wall of intense heat and pressure at Mach 10. The structural shock is absolute. The craft is entirely vaporized, and the Russian defense network never even had to launch a physical interceptor. It is a flawless, terrifyingly efficient, solid-state execution.
Which leaves us with a pretty chilling realization about modern black-budget warfare. If the ultimate American stealth advantage is, in reality, an automated Russian death sentence, who really controls the skies? The exact plasma shield that was meant to protect the TR-3B is literally the beacon used to lock onto it, and the very energy used to destroy it. It's just this endless game of tactical cat and mouse, played out with laws of physics that most people don't even know exist. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking those hard questions, and as always, keep looking up.